more important than the last two. 8 scoreless innings from the bullpen in the opener, allowing the offense to get it done in the 13th. Jesus Flores, a clutch homer last night. And Steven Strasburg, 6 brilliant innings en route to his 15th win. Tonight a chance to sweep and leave D.C. with an 8-game lead. Banks of the Anacostia. The tarp is coming off. Heavy rains here starting at about 5 o'clock. And this one is scheduled for 7:30 this evening. We've got one more update for you, and we'll be back to Nationals Park for that in just a moment. first full season to a knee injury in '94, but he's been part of that great Braves run all those years, and thoughts running through his mind as he looks out over our ballpark as a player for the final time. We wish him well starting this weekend. But he's in there tonight batting cleanup, and he's hitting .311. The Braves at .253. Martin Prado's in the leadoff spot tonight because Michael Bourne is not in the lineup against the left-hander Ross Detweiler. And neither is Dan Uggla. And neither is Brian McCann. So the Braves with a different look to their lineup tonight against Ross Detweiler, who's 2-0 career against him in 9 games, 6 starts with a 3.62 ERA. Well, Ray, you gave the scouting report. Isn't it funny how one pitcher seems to do so well not only against one team but against an entire division? You would think the more the hitters see him, the better off they would do, but it's not that way.
Well, because he's young and his stuff is getting better. And when I say that, and when we talk about stuff, his ability not just to throw the ball hard, that's kind of stuff, but the mental part of knowing how to change up, throw the breaking ball in situations when the hitter is expecting the fastball. He's been able to do that this year by getting his breaking ball over, by getting his changeup over more consistently. His fastball, he's learned to spot it inside, up and in, and throw the strike first pitch. And that seems to be the key to all the Nationals pitchers, and I know to all of baseball, as first pitch strikes. And this staff and Ross has been able to execute that this year, Bob.
Mazda defense behind him. Mazda, engineered for the few who care about what they drive and the way it makes them feel, because if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. The regular guys are out there. Kurt Suzuki started game 1 of this series, handled Jordan Zimmerman in the bullpen in that marathon. So he's back there to guide Detweiler through the evening against an Atlanta lineup that still is very dangerous even without some of its big guns. So the Nats are 77-46. They've won 3 straight, 24 of 31. Braves have lost 4 in a row, and they're 7 back. And there's a lot more pressure on the Atlanta ball club to win tonight than there is on the Nats after what Steven Strasburg did here last night. 6 innings, a run on 4 hits, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. Ray, maybe the best stuff we've seen all year.
Well, I don't know that he's thrown better. I really don't. You know, when he's throwing this many strikes and getting ahead the way he did last night, at one time, 9 of 12 hitters he was 0-2 on, and he had all 3 of his pitches working. And once he got them 0-2, it was lights out. He went to the changeup or the hook, and they just couldn't do anything about it. Then spotting that fastball away. So overpowering. And today I was inundated trying to get in here with people saying, hey, he can't be put on a pitch limit. Good gracious, what are they thinking? We're going to win the World Series. I just kept on walking, Bob. I did not even comment today.
It was not your decision.
No, it is not my decision. And, you know, and it wouldn't differ from what the team's decision is. You got to protect the young man. So
first pitch.
Let's play baseball.
First pitch, 7:33. Second pitch about 15 seconds later, and it's 0-2 on Martin Prado, who's 4 for 11 in this series. 4th in the league in hits, 2nd in multi-hit games with 45, hitting .296. Look at him guide that ball, and that's fair down the first base line. A fan interferes, and he will probably be on his way to the sidewalk on a game-opening double. That's about as little baseball as you can watch before you get ejected. Reed Johnson, Jason Hayward, and Chipper Jones now the next 3 hitters.
Perfect pitch. Down, off the plate away. We saw him hit the ball to right field last night on a fastball up 97, and he just has great back control, like very similar to Placido Polanco.
Yeah, good analogy there. And, you know, Prado, he could lead off. He could bat second. He could hit just about anywhere in the lineup. Here's Reed Johnson, who gets a start in 12 games with the Braves. The former Cub and Dodger is 8 for 25. And in this series, as a pinch hitter, he's 1 for 2.
And that's just a spot, Bob, where a good hitter beats a great pitch. because that pitch was located right where you want to throw it. And that may tell you a little bit that they're looking for the ball away to be able to cover a pitch that well.
Detweiler pretty quick with that 94. Paul Nart, 13-year veteran, has the plate tonight. Dana DeMuth is the crew chief. Doug Eddings and Kerwin Danley. Veteran crew doing a fine job in this series. Reed Johnson against Ross Detweiler. No wonder he's in the lineup tonight. He's 4 for 6 with a home run. That's a strike, a beauty.
Well, that's a good way to negate anybody looking away, and see how he freezes up inside there. And Ross has done that so effectively this year, and I promise you, as the game goes on, if he establishes that fastball in, it will open up the outside part of the plate. You won't see too many balls slapped down the right field line.
So a bit of a break on the call, and it's 1-2. A long look, Prado holding. Pretty good jammage right there. It hits off the side of the mound. Goes to Danny Espinosa for a productive Atlanta out. With Hayward coming up. And then Chipper Jones. So a lefty-lefty matchup. And then a chance to face Chipper. Jason Hayward against Ross, 2 for 8 career. And he's had a fine series. 3-game hitting streak, 6 for 14. And he's 5 out of 10 here with a homer, 3 RBIs. Had a 3-hit game last night with a steal. But he's made a couple of costly base running mistakes. They want to jam him on the first one. It was out over the plate a bit, but down, and Hayward didn't bite. It's a strike.
A great example of a Major League Baseball player and what happens when you're really talented and young. A very good year his first year. And then last year dropped off as the league caught up with him, started throwing him breaking balls, fastballs inside off the plate, elevating the ball, and he started chasing and got all out of whack. And now this year back on top, just 44 RBIs in all of last season.
Yeah. His extra base hits were way down last year, just 20. After he had 34 his first year.
But he's made the adjustment, has learned to lay off of that ball inside.
And Detweiler overmatches him with a fastball away. Obviously a big second out with that runner sitting at third base. Here comes Chipper.
Third baseman, number 10, Chipper Jones.
I wish I could tell you that was my voice, but it wasn't. Nice going, Jerome. Good job on the intro. Chipper in this series, 1 for 5 with a walk. And Detweiler will go low and inside against him. Chipper, a remarkable consistency to his season and his career from the right side, batting .319. Left-handed, .305. That ball right off the end of the bat. He'll serve it over to the right side. Kia takes us inside the numbers. With Chipper all time, most RBIs by a third baseman, more than George Brett, the great Michael Jack Schmidt, and Eddie Matthews, a Milwaukee Brave. Discover Kia's full lineup of high-quality, stylish, and dependable vehicles. To learn more, visit kia.com.
Yes, sir. Eddie Matthews, my idol growing up. My dad loved him. He was number 41. I wore number 41 my whole career until I got to the big leagues, and Tom Seaver happened to wear that number, and I didn't have a chance.
Oh, I remember Eddie Matthews as a kid on that team with Hank Aaron, Lou Burdett, Warren Spahn, Joe Adcock, Del Crandall, the catcher, all those great Braves teams.
Some kind of great team. And
2 World Series they went to in Milwaukee in the late 50s.
I don't know how, as a South Georgia boy, I became such a Milwaukee Brave fan. Great block here by Suzuki in a crucial situation, throwing that fastball down and in, moving his feet quickly, squaring up,
Evidently something in your heart told you they were going to move to Atlanta.
Yeah,
someday.
that's what I was about to say. First big league game I saw was 1966.
3 balls and 1 strike. Chipper out of play right side. The thing that I marvel at watching him, everything almost seems like slow motion for him. You never see the violent swing. You never see the panic in the field. Everything about Chipper Jones is at his speed, even at the age of 40 now.
Well, hitting is a rhythm, and he has such great rhythm. Strong hands.
He gets jammed. That'll keep the ball in the park. Harper the call, and Detweiler a good job of getting out of that inning. After the leadoff double and the ground ball, here come the Nats now. Performance design and fuel efficiency. Go by and get a test drive or log on to Dodge.com. Check out the powerful lineup. So Jason Worth, 6 games in the leadoff spot at 360. Since he came off the DL, he's batting 381. So he's been a great table setter. And his on-base percentage for the year is .409. He's been on base 4 times in 2 games this year. Hey, guess who had Tommy John surgery right before Steven Strasburg did, and the Atlanta Braves are limiting him to 160 innings this year? Well, you never heard that about Chris Medlin. He pitched out of the bullpen earlier. Now he's making a start. It'll be his 5th start of the year.
And just as teams do nowadays, in his first start, he only threw 57 pitches, and they were stretching him out. His second start, just to 79 pitches. His third start, Bob, 88 pitches, and then he finally got to 104 on his last start. So they've been very careful about his pitches as he coming off of that surgery, a year and a half removed, only 2 innings pitched in 2011.
And Worth trying to jump over his first pitch. And Medlin is different than Strasburg because he had worked out of the bullpen extensively at the major league level. You're just not going to take a guy like Steven Strasburg and make him a middle reliever?
No, they couldn't make up their mind with Medlin because he doesn't throw hard. He throws 90, 91, but he comes right at you in the strike zone. A bulldog type pitcher, 5'10", only 190 pounds.
And he's only a 3-pitch pitcher, Ray. So a lot of deception, and I know you are aware of what a good changeup he has.
Well, I talked to Joe Simpson there, a longtime announcer, and he told me that the last 20 batters that he's faced, that he's thrown a changeup to, they're 0 for 20, either striking out and missing or putting the ball into play, generally off the end of his bat. But his changeup is very deceptive. He likes to throw it, and his breaking ball is between a curveball and a slider, a little slurvish.
And Worth will guide that ball up the middle, handled by Paul Janisch. Braves are statistically the best defensive team in the league, but Ray made a pretty good distinction last night that they catch the balls they get to, but they don't have the range that the Nationals do. The one guy that might would be the shortstop, Paul Janisch, who is a defensive specialist. Tyler Pastanicki's a shortstop, but he's playing second base tonight, and he's had some big-time struggles defensively. That's why they had pretty much made Janisch. There's Tyler. Janisch, their starting shortstop, with Andrelton Simmons, the young guy, on the DL. So here's Bryce Harper, who had a 4K night last night, and he's probably happy to see a right-hander, except this guy doesn't exactly challenge anybody with fastballs.
His fastballs that he does throw is it's not a challenge fastball in the middle of the plate. He throws a lot of fastballs that always has real good downward movement. So he's not going to throw the ball in the middle of the plate very often. They really like him over there because of the fact that he wins. He's 9-2 in his career
as a starter. Yeah.
As a starter, that's pretty good. And they've decided that he's going to start, and they really like him starting. There's that changeup, and certainly not as dynamic as Strasburg's, but still as effective. Because look at the downward movement, the same type of downward movement, 8 miles an hour softer than Steven.
Harper waited for that one and bounces it to the right side. Pasternicki will take care of it. First 2 outs on ground balls. And Ryan Zimmerman coming up.
And another changeup there, Robert.
Well, he throws it 1/5 of the time. And a beautiful look at Nationals Park. Nice crowd on hand tonight. Not as big as last night's, but I mean, it rained really hard here, starting at about 5 o'clock. Batting practice was in full session, and everybody was scrambling off this field. Looks like there's still a cell off to the north of us, but may pass up Bethesda way and miss us. And that's outside. Ryan Zimmerman in the series. Couple of walks. He's 3 for 8. But he's 0 for 6 career against Chris Medley. Only one Nats starter tonight has 2 hits against him, and that's Ian Desmond. Now Zimmerman has one off the glove of Pasternicki. Staying on the ball, going the other way. And the Nats have their first base runner. Got to be ruled a hit, and Michael Morse will get a chance here in the first inning.
And with all sinker ball pitchers, you can't get the ball up. And there he gets the ball up. You see it better. You have, as I always say, built-in elevation. Ryan just drops the bat barrel on the ball and hits a P-rod that way.
Michael Morse has had an interesting series, and it goes back into the Mets weekend. Against Atlanta, Michael is 0 for 10. So the Nats have won the first 2 games of this series with Harper, Morse, and Espinoza. They combined 1 for 27. That's how opportunistic some of the other guys have been. Bryce was 1 for 9, Morse 0 for 10, Espinoza 0 for 8.
Well, that's why it's a lineup, and why the depth of the lineup is so important. And with Desi back now, we've got a lot of hitters stacked up together that can do damage. So it's not always depending on 1 or 2 guys getting hot. It's the whole group making a contribution.
It is Wireless Wednesday. We'll hear Ian talk about that later. Michael Morse with a count of 1 ball, 1 strike. Going back into the Mets series, he's 1 for 17 after that grand slam. That's a perfect pitch on the corner, 91. And the count's 1-2.
Well, that's where he's going to top out at 91. And he's one of those hitters, one of those pitchers that you end up having a comfortable 0 for 4 and say, gosh, he just doesn't throw hard. Nothing seems overpowering, but you look up and the team has 3 or 4. Actually, in his 4 starts, he has given up 4 hits, 5 hits, 5 hits, and 5 hits. So he's not giving up very many hits.
And he's gone at least 5 every time. Went 6 1/3. And last time at San Diego, a complete game. A 5-hit shutout. 2-2 pitch. He gets Michael Morse on 91, up and in. So the Nats get a hit just like the Braves. Each team stranding a runner to get this rain delayed started. is upon us, and it's presented by Luna. Call today for the Luna Double. Get your second room of flooring free at 877-241-LUNA. Ross Detweiler, first inning, 16 pitches, 12 strikes. He'll face Freeman, Ross, and Pasternicki. Freddie Freeman has had a solid series. He's 2 for 6 with an RBI and 3 walks. He's 1 for 8 career against the Nats left-hander. He was jumping all over that first pitch, high fastball. Ross has given up 9 home runs in 123 innings this year.
Choking up again with 2 strikes.
Ray, does that, I know it gives you bat control. Does it make your bat any quicker when you choke up?
It gives it more balance. You don't feel the head of the bat as much. So you don't feel like you have to fight to get the barrel to the front of the plate. So it's just more of a balance thing, and you feel like you have more control of the bat.
Ross Detweiler threw it right by him, his second strikeout. And now since the Martin Prado double, which did come on a really good down and away 0-2 pitch, he's retired 4 straight.
And the downward movement on this fastball is outstanding. You see Suzuki going down, catching the ball as he's going with the movement of the baseball. And Ross Detweiler has turned into a guy that when he first came up had a pretty true blue fastball that he threw 94, 95. Continues to throw that same velocity, but has developed a lot of movement on his pitches.
13 ground ball outs in that 6-4 win over the Mets last Friday, when he gave up 3 runs and 6 hits. Scuffled early, gave up 2 in the first inning. McCaddy watched him settle down beautifully the rest of the night, and it was like infield practice, kind of like that. Desmond guns him out, and that's his second ground ball out tonight.
And infielders love it. I mean, you love it. I love to hit. Hitting is the greatest thing in the world. But catching ground balls and being able to throw them, you're sitting out there, you want every ball hit to you. You don't like fly ball pitchers. You don't like guys that take all day, that throw a bunch of pitches. But you just want to have ground balls hit to you all night long. And because that's the fun of playing baseball. It's a fun game. You know, although you're in the big leagues and it's pressure, you've got to enjoy it, and you want every ball hit to you. I heard Ryan Zimmerman say, if you don't, you're in the wrong business.
Yeah. Tyler Pasternicki, he bounces one high. Zimmerman's going to cut it off. Great job on the move on a play that maybe the shortstop cannot make from that deep back there. So 2 ground ball outs and 3 in the game. Detweiler looking good. web at MBUSA.com. And by Burger King. Come play family food, where every game piece has a prize. It's the wheelhouse of the Masson trawler on the banks of the Anacostia. Usually a pretty good time of the night to go fishing. They're biting right about now, just before dark. And we'll go to the bottom of the second with LaRoche, Desmond, and Espinoza against Chris Medlin, who had a 16-pitch, 10-strike first inning. Nice to see Adam LaRoche on the field with Ryan Zimmerman and Mark DeRosa. Two of those guys, former teammates of Chipper Jones, and that's made a nice presentation to Chipper on his last ever visit to Nationals Park. He hit the first home run here on the last day of March back in 08. A game that eventually ended with Ryan hitting one out against Peter Moylan. Adam LaRoche in this series has had a good one. 3 for 7, an RBI, 2 walks. In his career, 1 RBI, 1 for 6 against Chris Medlin, who's 26 years of age from Artesia, California. He was a 10th rounder picked by the Braves back in 06. That's going to punch him out. Paul Nart pulls out the bow and arrow on a pitch just under the hands of Adam LaRoche. Your mission, our commitment. Visit agilitycorp.com as we look at league leader MLB ranks of shortstops. And only Starlin Castro of the Cubs has more RBIs. But Ian, despite missing all that time, still up there with all the best.
And in May of last year, I went down to see Davey last night, and we talked for a long time, 30 minutes or so. And he was comparing Desmond to Larkin. And he was able to manage Barry for 3 years, and some great shortstops that he managed. But the thing that he said about Desi is that every day he comes to the park, he doesn't say anything. He prepares. If there's something, it's always about other people.
Guides that fastball into right. That ball skipped. It's a base hit on a fine effort by Jason Hayward.
Great eyes, partner. Great eyes. Great call. That's why you are who you are. I couldn't tell that he trapped that ball.
You're just not that used to the God's eye view we have.
Oh, man.
That's what the military call it, from radar planes. And you'll see it skip up into his glove.
I see it now. I didn't see it from up here then, and I was looking right at it.
Boy, he hit that ball so hard, it almost carried out to Hayward.
Yeah, I'm talking about you seeing it, and I should be talking about him hitting it. Inside out stroke, fastball up and in, and he's locked in. But getting back to the Barry Larkin story, being around Barry, he was as good a player as I ever saw play, and I got to manage him for 2 years. But he had this professionalism about him that he never changed. He could be 0 for 20 or 10 for 20, and he brought the same attitude, the same positive approach, the same work ethic every day. And you see that in Desi. He's never up and down, and that means so much to the baseball team.
He starts and stops at first while Espinoza takes a strike inside corner. But you may have noticed, you knowledgeable Masson viewers and Nats fans, both base hits, right-handed batters staying on the ball, driving it the other way with authority.
Well, I think that's the only way you can approach him. And the reason for that, he throws the fastball to spots, but he's trying to get you out with a curveball. And the way you hit the curveball is making sure you stay square to the pitcher's mound or your shoulder towards second base to keep yourself up the middle. And certainly with that great changeup, you can't try to pull him.
He's given Desmond his best move 3 times. Espinoza late for that 91.
Boy, he was late, wasn't he?
So, yeah, you're going to see guys, I think, tonight, Ray, sitting off speed and trying to react to the fastball at times, which is the opposite of what you're supposed to do.
Well, you're exactly right.
But you can't blame them, can you?
It's okay to sit off speed until you get 2 strikes and react to the fastball. But if you're setting off speed, you can't swing at something hard. You've got to set breaking ball. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you're sitting off speed, you're thinking spin or you're thinking hit the ball to left center field, but you don't swing at the fastball until you get 2 strikes, and then you fight it off like that swing there. That's more of an 0-2 swing where you're protecting, but 0-1, you don't chase that ball up and away if it's a heater. Not if you're thinking soft, is what I'm saying.
Danny Espinosa 0 for 8 in this series. I'll have to ask Ian about this. Every one of those throws and tags have been pretty close. I just wonder, with coming back from the oblique, if he just doesn't want to go diving head first, reaching for a bag. He was leaning, and that's a changeup that misses low and away. Desmond is looking runnerish over at first base, but he hasn't taken off yet.
Yeah, I think that's probably in the back of players' minds. I know that when you get out there with that adrenaline flowing and games on the line, you tend to forget about things that are hurting you, and sometimes things that hurt you when you're not heated up don't hurt you when you're in game mode.
He had a shorter lead there. Espinosa off to the races. David Ross throws it off of the first baseman. Desmond goes to third, and I think David Ross might want to know from the umpire. Here comes Freddie Gonzalez. They're going to argue that Espinosa was not in the runner's box going down the line.
Well, I was watching him the best I could, Bob, and he started off way inside the line. But as he got halfway down there, he was veering back to try to get in the box.
As long as you're in the box, Ray, when a throw makes contact with you, you're fine wherever you start out.
Well, watch how he starts here, and he starts right on the inside of that line, veers out there, then he tries to get back. So he's actually on the inside, and they could call him out. But the only thing that they have to rule is he right at the bag? If he's right at the bag within a deal where it's a bang-bang play, then they can't call it interference. So I think it's probably more of that call, because he was definitely on that shot inside the line, and then he's automatically out if the ball hits him.
So it is a base hit for Espinosa, an error on David Ross on the throw, allowing Desmond to go to third, and Kurt Suzuki has a chance to put the Nats on top, and Medlin pulled out the quick move on Danny, who's got to be careful over there. Medlin's got some pretty quick feet and a quick move over to first. So 2 things going right for the Nats there, and a first and third with 1 out chance to take the lead. Atlanta's 62nd error of the year, fewest in the National League, but they're 14th against the Nats. Espinosa running. Suzuki up the middle. He is out at second and out at first. Interesting play by Tyler Pastornicki. It looked like Espinosa had a chance to beat him to the bag, but he turns the 4-3 double play, and the Braves are out of the inning. Go to nationals.com/2013 Calls 202-675-NATS, and the offer expires September 15th. No score? That was probably the only place, Ray, Kurt Suzuki could hit a ground ball and not get an RBI in that second inning.
You're right, Bob, and he does everything he's supposed to do. He gets a good jump. He's looking home because he has to make sure he protects for the line drive, and it's just the ball hit right there, right on top of the bag. Just a bad break for Suzuki, the Nationals, and everybody else, and trying to get in there. The only thing that he could have done differently was go ahead and take him out, because he's in a spot there. You go ahead and take him out, knock him down, and he tried. He did everything he could. I didn't see that angle. He certainly did. You know, they stopped you about 15 years ago from doing the roll block that Pete Rose and Hal McRae and those guys, Don Baylor, in those days, he would have been in left field up in the bleachers somewhere, because that base didn't make any difference. They could roll block you and take your kneecaps off. But nice job, Danny, trying to break that double play up.
Yeah, well played by Pastor Nicky, not always known for great defense. Paul Janisch leads off in this series. He has a walk and RBI. He's 1 for 8, and then the pitcher. So coming out of the second inning, Detweiler, 6 consecutive batters retired after the Prado double. 24 pitches, 19 strikes.
Well, this is a guy that shows you, and this is not meant to be negative toward this man, but he has never hit, and there's a lot of guys that haven't hit. Dow Maxwell there with the Cardinals on those great Cardinals teams. Can't hit a lick, but yet plays big league shortstop because he's such a great glove man.
Well, I'll tell you how valued he was. Hall of Famer Bob Gibson used to tell his manager, Red Schoendienst, I don't care who's in the lineup when I pitch, but Maxwell's the shortstop.
And they listened to Bullet Bob, didn't they?
And Red would say, whatever you say.
Well, yes, sir.
And Gibson then used to lobby to hit 8th and Maxwell 9th. But
and that was a good deal, too. But
manager,
Red wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't go it so far.
But the value of a defensive shortstop cannot be overstated.
Well, I played in the minor leagues against Ozzie Smith when he couldn't hit at all. He couldn't hit the ball hard enough to get it out of the infield, and he developed into an outstanding hitter. But he always played great shortstop, starting with the Padres. And actually, when Templeton went there, the Padres thought that they got the best of the deal.
Yeah, I remember that deal.
Because Gary Templeton could probably outrun Ozzie.
And he was a power hitting switch hitter.
And could outthrow him, but he just couldn't outfield him or outplay him day in and day out.
Chris Medlin is 2 for 15 this year. 7 for 55 career. And he'll pop it up on the right side of the infield. Adam LaRoche is in there. Taking charge, 2 quick outs here in the top of the third. PNC Minor League Report Solutions that help you achieve your financial goals. PNC Bank for the achiever in you. And Sean Pleffner for the Auburn Double Days. He's a local guy, 6'5", and he is raking. 407 over the last week and 329. Sean Pleffner.
One quick comment on these minor league reports. Back in 2007, 8, 9, 10, when we would go and look and see what the minor leagues were doing, you had to look really hard to find somebody that was having an exceptional year.
Yeah.
I mean, throughout the minor league. And now every night they throw somebody up there on that board that is just numbers that are just off the charts.
Yep.
So that's how far this minor league system has come due to Mike Rizzo and his great staff.
Here's Martin Prado. Good tailing fastball. No balls, 2 strikes. Now here's the same count on which Ross threw him a changeup in the first inning, and Prado literally poked it about 6 inches inside the first base bag.
I would bust him inside so hard. He's going away again.
Yeah, with a fastball this time.
But I would, anytime you have somebody hit the ball hard to right field early in the game, and you have an opportunity 0-2, 1-2, young pitchers, you bust them inside. You throw them a ball inside part of the plate, black into their uniform.
And Detweiler catches it. That was a breaking ball. And the Nats have a 2-game pitcher catching line drive streak going. Strasburg did it last night, and Detweiler a nice pick right there.
Winning a big extra innings game or watching a big bat in their starting lineup go down. The Nationals have been able to maintain the highs and lows of the season and control their emotions, as Ian Desmond put it, who I talked to on this Wireless Wednesday about what's been behind the Nationals staying even keel all season long.
Davey's about as mellow as it gets. You know, he's been there, done that. I mean, there's nothing in this game that really catches him by surprise, and you know, you're only as good as your leader, and I mean, he's probably one of the best that I've seen, and you know, he sets a great example.
And when it comes to Ian being back in the swing of things, he says that oblique is a situation I don't want to exactly put way behind me because I don't want it to sneak up on me, but he says I'm making steps in the right direction. I'm not 100%, but the past couple of games have been promising, and Bob, I'd call a couple of homers promising, wouldn't you?
Yeah, he's driving the ball again. Thanks, Christina. And then Detweiler, like Medlin, 2 hits this year, 7 hits career. Actually, Detweiler just 5 hits career and 5 sacrifice bunts. Now, Ray, you spent some time with Davey, and his leadership came into play last night regarding Steven Strasburg returning to that game after the delay.
Bobby, he did. We were talking, and I asked him what went into bringing Strasburg back. And he's always had this program that he actually is the only manager I've ever seen do it, where he always wanted, during a rain delay, his starting pitcher to go underneath the batting cage, wait 15 minutes, and then throw 8 or 9 warm-up pitches, and then throw 15 pitches. And then sit down, and that would count as the, well, he went out in the second inning last night, correct?
Yeah, it was 2 outs in the third.
Right, so that would count as the third inning. Yeah. So he sits down and waits for about 15 minutes, gets back up, does the same thing, throws the 8 or 9 warm-up pitches into 15 pitches, sits down, and then once it runs out to an hour, he's done.
Yeah.
And last night, Davey was only about 4 or 5 minutes from shutting him down completely, and you saw what happened.
Oh, Mike Rizzo was on the field with the crew chief, Dana DeMuth, and hats off to our ground crew. They were moving as fast as I've ever seen them last night, because everybody wanted to see Strasburg come back and pitch, and boy, what a show he put on. Great stuff, Ray, and I'm sure Davey's program will be picked up by others. Jason Worth bounced out to short first time. So Medlin has 3 strikeouts. And another ground ball out. That ball was gashed right at Giannis for the second out here in the third. So we've got a pretty good, and you would call it unheralded, pitching matchup shaping up here. A duel between Detweiler and Medlin. Not the 2 high-profile guys on each of these staffs, but looking really good tonight. So here's Harper, who got behind on off-speed and then was able to hit the ball hard to Pasternicki, who threw him out. It's going to be a little bit inside. Paul Nart took a long look at that one. He sets up over the catcher's right shoulder, and he did not give Medlin that inside pitch. There's the changeup.
And he throws it down. Every time he throws it down, keeps it down. Not far from the percentages that we had. No
he might have just forced Bryce's worst swing as a major leaguer.
And he threw that Slurvich pitch, actually slower than his changeup. Bryce isn't going to see a lot of hard pitches to hit. Look at the break, the rotation of the breaking ball. You know, everybody knows now that he is a guy that's geared for the fastball, which all young hitters are, and that he has a little bit of trouble adjusting down. More so with the left-handed slingers.
Change up way outside. Easy take for Bryce. And you'd love to see him get aboard the way Ryan Zimmerman hit his first one tonight. A really hard hit ball off the glove of Pasternicki, the second baseman. Full count pitch. Harper will pop it up right side. That was another changeup. 83. Freddie Freeman right in front of the Nats dugout, and that's it for Washington. It's a pitcher's duel in D.C. tonight as the Nats try to sweep. Tonight at Cox.com, Ian Desmond having a great series, a rocket off his bat tonight. And then the story of this game, look at the economical pitch counts for Chris Medlin and Ross Detweiler.
Ross throwing great movement, throwing his fastball 95, blacking out with Hayward, the sinker away 94, and then the fastball up 95. All three strikeouts on his fastball. Then the big hook ripped right back at him. Great reflexes as he smiles big. I think for the rest of the game, he might ought to throw Mr. Prado fastballs inside.
Yeah, time is right for that. Here's Reed Johnson, who bounced out to Espinoza. First time up. That's a rocket into left. Ambushing the 93 on the first pitch. And the Braves have their second base hit. I like Reed Johnson. 282 career hitter, 9th year. Hard as nails kind of guy. Came over with Mahalam from the Cubs for a couple of minor league pitchers. He's the kind of guy in your ball club who could be a great fourth outfielder.
And Zim respecting the bunt, and that's one of the reasons it got by him. When you have his kind of speed and he's able to bunt, as third baseman, you have to respect that. Cuts down on your range. He knows it, so he looks for a ball in and pulls it right past Zim.
Here's Hayward. Whoa! Way up over his inside shoulder. That was 92. And not a whole lot of reaction time there. That one really got away from Ross.
Ooh.
Up above his helmet, fortunately. And quite a play by Suzuki.
Yeah, I watched one right into my face in AA one time on a ball similar to that.
Then you learned to turn the other way, didn't you?
Oh my gosh, it was a tough thing to come back from. It broke my cheekbone, my orbital, and my face, and
that was after your Golden Gloves boxing days, right?
Yeah, I'd never been hit like that.
So I was going to say, what's worse, a glove to the head or a baseball?
Getting hit by a baseball 94 in the face. I didn't know what was going on for the next 12, 14 hours. Knocked me out, and then I had a tough time staying on the baseball for the next year. I didn't think that I was gun shy. And back then we didn't have a whole lot of video, but I just kept pulling off the ball, and I went from being a 280 to 300 hitter in the minor leagues to hitting 212 the next year, simply because I just wasn't staying on the baseball. But I eventually got through it. And
this is a mile high. We'll see if it can come back, and it won't. Inside the numbers with Kia on Jason Hayward. 20 homers and 15 steals this year. It's a short list. MVP type guy in Braun McCutcheon having a career year. The phenom Trout. And then, of course, Cargo from Colorado. Discover Kia's full lineup of high quality, stylish, and dependable vehicles. To learn more, visit kia.com. 2-2 pitch now. It was 2-0. And a bouncer right side. They will settle for the runner at first. And Danny waited too long. And then he lobbed a lollipop over there. Hayward smelling a hit. And, you know, FP spotted this earlier in the season. Ever since Bryce Harper took that base and embarrassed Jason Hayward in Atlanta, he's been playing so hard against the Nationals. And he steals a base hit right here.
You know, I didn't hear FP say that, but I will say this. I've watched this kid play since he was 14 years old in a AAU tournament or one of those travel teams, and he has that kind of makeup, Bob. He plays hard the majority of the time. Now, I don't see him every day, but when I first saw him at 14 years old, he was by far the most active player on the field.
Double play ball, Espinosa. Not a great throw, but a great pick by LaRoche as Hayward took Danny out at second base. So the Braves will have Reed Johnson at third with 2 outs. And to say the least, things are happening quickly here in the top of the fourth.
Chipper, really not a tailor-made double play ball because it's hit so softly, and Danny gets taken out. Great job by LaRoche, who saved our infielders all year long, and that's that play where he goes across, has to throw across his body, and then Hayward gets into him just a little. But hey, all they ever taught me to do when I played second was get the ball on the way to first. Get the ball on the way to first. Use your feet, touch it with that right foot, get across the bag, try to clear yourself, but get it on its way to first.
And if you have a great first baseman, he'll take care of the rest.
Right.
That's what LaRoche did. There's a rocket off the bat of Freddie Freeman hooking foul. Chipper Jones has now bounced into 12 double plays. So early in this ball game, each defense, Braves in the second, Nats in the fourth, turning a very important double play. Freeman struck out swinging first time up. And Detweiler misses low. Suzuki a block. And it counts a 1-1. So 2 hits in the inning, the double play ball.
Hey, I don't know that I've seen that ratio. I mean,
not for 4 innings.
No. That shows you how good his fastball is.
Well, you're talking about a first-round draft choice back in 07 who had some hip issues. Used to throw across his body severely. Ross has had to make some adjustments over the years. I mean, he was one of the biggest step toward the first base dugout guys you would ever see. He's got a beautiful fluid motion now, and he forces a foul tip. Yeah, Suzuki just unable to hold on. That got him.
Right off his thumb, I believe. Maybe his knuckle.
He's going to walk around, and Mike McGowan quickly out of the dugout. And Davy Johnson, it's been open season on catchers here. And the way Kurt keeps walking so far away from home plate, you got to be concerned.
He tucks his hand right there inside. Most catchers this day and times tucks it behind them, behind their shin guard, behind his bat, and it catches him right on those knuckles. Gosh, that is something that thing will probably swell up. It can be displaced easily. I've never noticed him tucking his hand right there by his groin when he receives the ball. That's an unusual place for a catcher to put his...
When I first saw that, I thought maybe he got it behind the protector, but it didn't look like he did. Wasn't Johnny Bench one of the first guys to take that right arm and tuck it behind his back on the right side?
He was the first, and they created that hinge glove for him, and then that thing's swelling up big time.
That is amazing to me. The catchers can continue after some of the punishment they take. He'll have to throw a couple here.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
And you know that the Braves are taking notice of this in their dugout. Michael Bourne is not in their lineup tonight. Their #1 base stealer. So here's the pitcher warming up the catcher.
Yeah, if he can get in there quickly and get ice on that and keep the blood from rushing out of there, the swelling is what makes you feel that you can't feel the pressure that you put on the baseball.
I know the trainers used to carry the old ethyl chloride spray that would have an ice type effect.
They don't come out anymore with that, do they?
I don't see that a whole lot anymore. And they would spray it on there. It was a freezing agent.
Yeah, it numbed it quickly.
That was temporary.
Yeah, it lasted about 5 minutes, but oftentimes that was enough to get you into the dugout to get a little ice pack on there.
Target outside corner. And a drive to right, and Adam LaRoche is right there. The Nats are getting some breaks. Zimmerman, Morse, and LaRoche coming up. It somehow is still scoreless. Way out of it. Abe's always been the best closer. That is one heck of a bow tie he's running with right there. No problem for the man from the land of Lincoln. This one on to the bottom of the fourth. 3-4-5 for the Nats. And a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time. Later in the game, it's brought to you by Miller Lite. Always a very important play in the ball game. What will it be tonight? Who will be involved? No score, bottom of the fourth. Medal in 3 very good innings. 39 pitches, 28 strikes. Ryan Zimmerman 1 for 7 against him with that first inning base hit. And then he struck out Morse ending the first. LaRoche starting the second. But you know how good the Nats have been this year, second time around, against some pitchers they haven't seen a whole lot. Medlin pitched in relief here twice, July 20th and 21st. 3 innings total. Only 1 hit.
You know, he's now this is going way back, and some of you folks will remember this, I know. Catfish Hunter threw very similar to this guy. Same type of body build, 5'10", 190 pounds, straight over the top, everything on the corner, slow curveball and changeup, and became a Hall of Fame pitcher. So this tells you, this kid, he's not lighting up the gun. He's not doing anything to impress you except pitching.
Yeah.
And he's making pitches to great spots.
Well, Ryan's got that right field idea tonight.
He's such a smart hitter, Bob. You know, he's one of those special players that comes along once in every 10 years. And, you know, David Wright's right there with him. And just because he goes out there day in and day out, does it every day, you know, maybe you take him for granted. But, gosh, is he good.
And this one flared out to right for Jason Hayward. Bottom of the 4th underway. Due to Fox picking up the game a week from Saturday when the Cardinals are here, the scheduled time of that game has been changed from 7:05 to 4:05. Go to nationals.com/tickets. So make your late lunch plans at the ballpark, and then you can go out for a nice dinner here in the district somewhere. St. Louis will be here for 4 next week, starting on Thursday, August 30th. September is a week away. Morris, and the bat barrel flew right through the box. Medlin chucking and ducking. And a dangerous play. Michael Morse thrown out. And that thing was helicoptering right through the pitcher's mound.
Well, I've always had this fear since they started these maple bats that somebody's going to get hurt with a bat as opposed to a ball. If that thing hits him, my goodness. I saw Hal Morris in the on-deck circle, and Ronnie Gant broke a bat, broke his wrist. Steve Yeager went through his throat. Who was that coming down the third base line? A player coming down the third base line. It broke and impaled near his heart. Anyway, last year, and I've heard you mention it so many times, Bob, about these bats that are just, and I think they get them top heavy, and they just have a tendency to just snap off.
Bases empty, 2 outs, and Adam LaRoche now. And of course, my great fear is one of those going into the stands some night.
Oh yeah, I didn't even.
Baseball has been so lucky in that respect. Great swing by Adam LaRoche, taking the ball up the middle, and the Nationals have their 4th base hit. Adam is now 4 for 9 in the series, and with a couple of walks, he's been on base 6 times.
Ball going away, him setting up his angle that way, didn't try to pull it, went right with the pitch.
What a classic left-hander's swing.
There's not a prettier swing in baseball than his. That fluidity, born with it.
Ian Desmond now. He hit the hardest ball of the night his first time up. Medlin misses low. So Ian in the series 5 out of 10 now. And like LaRoche, he's been on base 6 times. Boy, they're playing Ian Desmond deep in the 4th inning. This was like a no doubles defense.
Up, middle, and down and in. If you can get him out of the way in that lower quadrant over there where that 100 is, that's where everybody's weakness is, down and away.
Sure.
Better high ball hitter than low ball hitter.
And a lot of right-handers are. But Desmond's numbers low and in were pretty impressive. So
well, they should be. He should be. Because he has that quick bat, and you can drop the head on the ball in. And there's that defense. You look, only Hayward playing about normal, but that's with the off-fielder. He should be a little shallower, but Reed Johnson
Well, the other thing the Braves know, if they can run down a double, they could keep Adam LaRoche from scoring. Adam is not a fast base runner. So maybe they play a little bit deeper to get a quicker route to a gapper or a ball down the line.
That's exactly why they do it, partner. That's exactly why they do it. Give them a little more time to cover more ground, to cut it off, knowing that with the cutoff man coming out to meet them, they get the ball to him, and Bo Porter will stop that runner at third.
That's a great changeup. Desmond struck out. Medellin and Detwiler matching each other nearly pitch for pitch. VIP experience for two to a 2012 World Series game. It's presented by Scott's, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. 4 innings in the scorebook. 0-3-1 Braves, 0-4-0 Nats. Ross, Pasternicki, Yanish, 6-7-8 for the Braves. Let's go inside the numbers with SunTrust and teams with the best records in their own division. So the Nats sitting on top of that heap. The Reds have 1 more win but 3 more losses, and I don't know, Washington up by 7, Cincinnati by 7.5. A couple of teams at least with the potential to run away and hide. David Ross, the catcher, bounced out to Desmond, first time up. Braves in the East, by the way, 29-21. Nationals haven't done them any favors by winning 10 out of 14. This is the last time the Braves will visit here, unless it's the League Championship Series. And the Nats have beaten them 5 out of 8 here. I guess I would pose the question, Ray, have we really said goodbye to Chipper Jones in D.C.? October may tell.
Well, anything could happen, and I said tonight that this was a must-win, and not so much because of the Nationals. They have to make sure that they keep themselves in that race for the wild card. So the wins are so important for them, and they can ill afford to lose 3 in a row, or 4 in a row actually. Yeah. I saw that they lost a game before coming in here.
Yeah, a couple. Dodgers got them 2 out of 3 over the weekend. Freddie and Chipper. That ball cranked up the middle. David Ross has always been a very good hitting catcher. The ultimate backup guy. He'll always hit 270, 280 for you. Let's check in on the wild card standings, where the Braves still are right there with the Pirates, who are trailing 4-2 at San Diego tonight. But with Atlanta losing 4, the Pirates struggling lately. Cardinals and Dodgers within a half game each.
Here come the Cardinals.
Yeah, and they'll be here next week. The Nats still have 7 games left with them. Haven't seen them this year. Here's Pasternicki.
They put on that great run last year. and ended up taking them all the way to the championship.
At the expense of the Braves, who could not buy a big hit or a badly needed out or a save in the last week and a half when they needed it. It was just monumental the way they let that thing get away. Much like the Red Sox did over in the American League East. Wow, the fastball's down to 96% of the time now.
Well, you just don't see anybody able to do that in this league. You have to be able to mix off-speed pitches in, but it's like he has 3 different pitches with his fastball. The one that he elevates, explodes, it gets on hitters quickly, and if it shows 94, something's in his eye over there. If it shows 94, as downhill as he throws at 6'5", it looks like 95 or 96 to the hitters. That's why they're fouling it back. Then the fastball in has just a little bit of cut on it, and it will wear your hands out. And then the one he throws away has that nice boring action away. So even though he's pitching with the fastball, it gives you 3 different looks.
Jeff Porter, their trainer, was ready to come out with some ice solution, but it looks like Ross is okay. He should see the bugs we see up at this level. We have flybys up here, and they are impressive. 1 ball and 1 strike. Another good scramble by Suzuki.
You sure those aren't planes from Reagan?
Well, I remember one night the Coast Guard choppers did a flyover, and for us it was a flyby. We were waving to guys in the cockpit as they went from first base over to third.
Suzuki so quick with his feet, blocking those balls.
Little tapper. LaRoche couldn't decide whether to charge or not, and then in very relaxed fashion gets the lead runner. There is no panic in that man whatsoever on a 3-6 play that was a lot harder than it looked.
Well, the ball just kind of tumbles out to him, and he starts to charge it, backs up, takes it on the high hop, knows that it wasn't hit hard enough because Pastor Nicky runs well to turn a double play.
And on the Toshiba Exmo, a beautiful look at the throwing lane, which wasn't very big.
And Ross taking Desi out pretty hard, and Desi turns back and gives him a little look.
Here's Paul Janisch, the shortstop. So that's another ground ball out for Detweiler, his 6th of the game. And we give 2 for 1 on double play balls. We are the ground ball out discount booth. Janisch struck out swinging first time up. Speaking of Cincinnati, they're at Philadelphia behind Bronson Arroyo tonight against Vance Worley. Good ball game there, 2-1 Reds in the 6th. The Nats will be in Philadelphia Friday night to feel that brotherly love with Edwin Jackson against Kyle Kendrick. One of the most heartwarming places in America for a visiting team. But it's going to be interesting this time. The Nats will come into town as the front runner. And I think it'll be real interesting to see the Philly fans reacting now to our ball club. A complete reversal of fortune from years past.
And there are not quite as many of them these days as they lost their sellout streak a couple of weeks ago.
Still intimidating, and the Nats will be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then on to Miami, where some tropical weather could play a role in folks' ability to get to that ballpark, even though it has a roof. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss on a foul tip, actually. Janisch is gone, and Ross Detweiler strikes out Paul Janisch second time.
Sets up inside, the ball moves back out over the plate, but the velocity is so strong at 94. Janisch couldn't do anything but try to hit it, whoosh, right by him.
And thanks to our Washington area Toyota dealers, $37 more to the Children's Inn at the National Institutes of Health, while special kids receive treatment along with their families at NIH. Here's Medellin, the pitcher, and he popped the ball up first time. Target is outside edge. He had the edge, but it was a little up. 2-0. Doesn't get the call. 3-0. Well, you hate to face Martin Prado with men on base. He's hit the ball sharply twice tonight. Double opposite way, then that screaming liner into the glove of Detweiler, ending the third. And Ross walked the pitcher on 4. First walk of the night. So it's Jackson on Friday night at 7 o'clock. And then the Nats take on the Phillies Saturday night. DC 50 joining us for Sunday. Day off Monday, and then a short 2-game series at Miami before the Nats come home to play the Cardinals next week. Nats extra before and after every game. Just take the game time, back time by 30 minutes. And Ray Knight will be back in the studio Friday night.
Yes, sir. And I think my buddy Johnny's going to be back there.
Good.
With me.
Come on back, Johnny.
Miss you, man.
And hats off to Byron and Phil for great work while Johnny's been out and Ray's been here in the booth. Those guys have been outstanding. We have a deep pool of talent here at Masson. And right now, Ross Detweiler's having a hard time getting over the top of his fastball. Prado in this series, 5 out of 12. He goes breaking ball to get a touch and can't get that in either.
I'm sure Steve's going to run out there. Yeah. Just thinking here how often this happens. You'll have a young pitcher cruising, and either the weakest hitter or the pitcher will come up in a situation, and all of a sudden he loses it. And it sometimes takes him a little while to get it back. And, you know, it's concentration. I don't think it's mechanics. I think it may be the fact that you're facing a guy that you may lose that intensity for a minute or two because you don't necessarily respect his prowess with the bat, but it jumps up and bites you. And if I knew the answer, I'd make a lot of money.
This game leaves us seeking many answers. It is so complicated, so many different facets to it, and you don't beat the other guys because your guys are bigger and faster and more athletic. So many nuances. And a 2-0 pitch. That's right down the middle. So the after McCaddy visit strike ratio continues to be outstanding on first pitch this year. Prado helping out, swinging at ball 3. Second base, Pasternicki. He's a pretty good base runner. The pitcher 90 feet behind him, Chris Medley.
It's hard to throw out a guy with 2 outs, 2 strikes, because you're taught as you see the bat start, you start. You take a step toward the direction of third base. And with 2 outs, you know you're going on the crack of the bat anyway, but with his speed, it's going to be tough to throw out.
That ball hit hard to the gap, and Bryce Harper has it go over his outstretched glove. The Braves will score a couple, and that's the thing you fear about Martin Prado. That ball fooled Bryce Harper, and the Braves lead 2-0.
He was playing mighty shallow anyway, and taking away the base hit to try to throw the runner out. Look how shallow he's playing. And then he makes a move toward right field before he goes back. His first 3 or 4 steps, a bad angle. He's starting toward right field instead of going straight back. I don't think he'd have caught the ball anyway, Bob. It was smoked, and he was playing rather shallow, I thought.
Yeah, everything would have had to go right, and it would have been a very difficult finish to that play.
But then if that's a line drive hit up the middle and he's playing shallow and he charges it and throws a guy out, we're all applauding it. So, you know, you can't play everywhere. That ball was just hit hard.
Reed Johnson to Desmond, and the Braves will pick up a couple A walk to the pitcher, fatal in the 5th inning to the Nats.
And what has led to the national success so far this season has been a work in progress. Ian Desmond has been there since day one and has watched this organization grow right in front of his eyes.
Ever since the day I got here, this organization's been moving in the right direction. I mean, 2004, I signed. 2005, we brought in some good players. Zim signed, first pick, and it's been continually taking steps in the right direction since. And, I think we're up to the point now where the organization is, in a sense, set to where, it's a real organization and players want to come here, not only for the baseball team, but it's a great town. We have great fans, great stadium. And, I think, signing Jason Worth might have been that time where, you knew that, hey, we got a key free agent. Ownership showed that they're going to spend some money. And, the future was, just taking the next step.
And Ian weighed in recently on Jason Worth leading off, and he said when you could put a guy who has done what he has done, like Jason Worth, in the leadoff spot with no complaints, when he comes out and produces, that speaks volumes about the kind of character we have in here. Guys are willing to do whatever they have to do by any means, and we're playing winning baseball.
Ian Desmond, 84th player drafted in 2004, third rounder out of Sarasota High School. He was verbally committed to go play baseball in Tampa at the University of South Florida. And the Expos made it what would turn out to be an historic draft choice. 6 years in the minor leagues. It's not like Ian got to the big leagues as quick as some guys in this organization. 541 minor league games, over 2,000 at bats. He was well seasoned by the time he made it in September 8 of 09 and then hit 280 that month. So here's Danny Espinosa, Kurt Suzuki, and Ross Detweiler to follow. The Nats now down by 2. They've been out hit 5-4. Espinosa, a little wiggling base hit down the first base line that he beat out first time up. Ball actually hit him on a throw by catcher David Ross. So you'd like to see one or two guys get on here, give Detweiler a chance to bunt later in the inning. Chipper's on the grass at third because Espinosa, who hasn't bunted much lately, has had several bunt hits this year.
Well, Chipper's smart. He knows that there's a 2-run lead. He's not going to let the leadoff hitter get on by allowing him to bunt, so he's going to take it away from him, make him swing the bat.
They play Danny up the middle, infield to pull, shortstop. Not that far off a line beyond second base, and the count goes to 2-1. Nissan on the pitch track.
Pitch right there, just misses. Maybe it didn't miss.
Yeah, it's a strike.
The ball went there through the strike zone.
Nissan summer saving days till September 4th. Visit ChooseNissan.com or hurry into your local Nissan dealer.
Good sideways movement, Medlin, on his fastball. I guess he grips that with 2 seams to get the sideways movement, because he can throw the pretty pure fastball that he's going to throw here in the middle of the plate in.
He's going to get Danny Espinosa. A fastball running under his hand, strikeout number 5.
He sets hitters up as well as anybody I've seen this year. Fastball away, then comes back right after the fastball away to the fastball in.
And I'll ask you one more time, who does that fastball remind you of?
Oh, Maddox, no question. That inside fastball that runs back over the plate right after a pitch away, so that your mind gets to thinking away, your body leans that way a little bit and throws you inside and locks you up.
And, of course, Levon Hernandez made a living for years with that pitch, throwing it 84. Kurt Suzuki hit the ball sharply into a 4-3 double play. That's the big play of the game for the Braves right now. Nats had first and third, one out in a scoreless game back in the second.
Hitters don't like the ball in general close to them, Bob. It takes so much to get the ball out of there. You must start your swing early. You have to hit it way out front. I'm talking 2 feet out in front of the plate, as opposed to a ball out away from you. You can get back to the front of the plate. So just the pitching coaches, the great pitchers that I've been around, that I've faced, they own the inside third of the plate. And if you got them away, then hey, that's your prerogative. But
it's up and away, 3-1.
They would push you back so hard inside and make you so aware of the fastball in that it just becomes almost impossible to get your mind to think away. And then once they establish it in, they go away, and you just got nothing left because your whole left side leaves the ball.
There's another shattered bat on a ground ball to Paul Janisch. 2 outs.
See, that ball's inside also, and you end up just getting beat to death in there. Kid can flat out pitch, and that's what Joe Simpson said. We said before the game, sideways movement hits him just above the paint. I mean, that's a good 15 inches short, because that's probably 34 and a half inches. The paint goes up about 14 inches, so he hit that ball about 18 inches up his label, which is barely halfway up the bat.
They're still looking around for slivers of that bat. So Detweiler now, you were hoping Suzuki would get walked or get on somehow so the Ross could bunt. You could at least slice this lead in half. But it'll be Detweiler now with the bases empty and 2 outs. Ross is 2 for 32 hitting this year. Two fastballs, 2 strikes.
He doesn't fool around, and Ross hasn't either. I mean, 2 guys matching up, and just Prado's been the difference in the game. He's hit the ball hard 3 times with double, triple, line drive back to the pitcher.
After 5 innings, you're wondering if Chris Medlin is about to become the Jonathan Neese of this series. if they plant trees for every broken bat tonight, there's going to be a new grove somewhere around here. And with the Racing Presidents having done their thing, the Nats offense still waiting to do theirs. Some performance by Chris Medlin and really Ross Detweiler as well, but you can't walk the pitcher and let Martin Prado bat in that inning.
No, that was fatal, as you said. Everybody talks about velocity. If you look at pitching coaches and talk to them, they want late movement. And that's what Chris Medlin has, that late, quick movement.
And it's nice to see a guy who doesn't do much on the radar gun, but he's pitching and moving the ball around to spots, and just as hard to hit as a guy with 95, 96.
Well, the Braves made a living out of that for 14, 15 years with Glavine and Maddox, and they were able to do that and really wear hitters out with moving the ball around, changing speeds, working fast, and throwing strikes, and that's what Medlin has done.
Ross Detweiler, 69 pitches, 47 strikes in his 5 innings of work. And Jason Hayward greets him with his 7th hit of this series. This is the best stretch of baseball the Nats have seen Jason Hayward playing in quite some time. So we'll check the Braves box. Hayward doing his part. Martin Prado, a couple of doubles. He's driven in both runs. Other than that, things have been pretty quiet. So the number 1 guy, the number 3 guy, major problems for Detweiler tonight. And Hayward now is 4 for 11 career against Detweiler. Prado is 11 for 19. And here's Chipper, who hit into a double play last time up. He's flied to center and bounced to short for that 6-4-3.
Well, I made a statement earlier about Hayward, and I was fortunate to watch him play as a real young kid. He was in Atlanta, and I actually coached a traveling team and got to see him play at 13, 14 years old. And I mentioned how he hustled then and how hard he played. But, you know, I had a thought after that. You know, sometimes you see these kids young, 19, 20 years old in the minor leagues, and they bust their tail and they play hard. And then they get in the big leagues. And after a year or two, I don't know if it's because of the length of the season, but you see them go in spurts. And I remember the play now with Hayward not charging the ball in the outfield, and sometimes they have lapses of concentration as young players. So, you know, they also sometimes just don't lose the fire, but lose the everyday ability to play all out. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You've seen that.
And I do think, Ray, the length of the season does have a lot to do with it. I mean, minor leagues pretty much done Labor Day. If you get called up, you're so happy to have your season extended. And the Nats bullpen gets to work. Jim Lett just answered the phone, and there's another base hit. Ross is getting the ball up here. Worth got to it quickly to keep Hayward at second base. And Chipper Jones is 2 for 8 in this series with that base hit.
Well, it's hard to I don't even know how to say it, denounce your announcement of retiring, but I don't know how Chipper swings.
You know, something weird just happened. Ian Desmond, when they throw a baseball out, he's been throwing it to the ball person down the left field line, and then they give it to a fan. Well, they want this ball back because it might be Chipper Jones' last hit in this ballpark.
Is that why they're taking it back?
That's all I can think of. And if he gets a hit next time, then they'll give this one away. Let's hope it's his last hit in this ballpark. I'm sure Chipper's standing over there going, hey, I got another at bat or two here. So here comes McCaddy. And I think Jason Hayward might have told Ian Desmond, hey, you need to go get that baseball. They got it. But, Ray, if you look at the evening, there were 2 ground ball outs last inning. But that's 7 in 5 innings, and Ross Detweiler usually has 10 or 11 in the game by this point. So that fastball's been up some.
Yeah, and he got away with it early. But after you see it up there, especially a guy like Chipper, he has the ability right-handed to get on top of the ball. But, again, it's rare to see a man throw 95% fastballs, and be able to get through a ball game unscathed. So as good as Ross was the first 4 innings with the fastball, it wasn't that he got hit or pounded off that mound in the 4th inning. That walk is what killed him with the pitcher.
Yeah, really turned the night around.
He did. He did.
2 on now, nobody out. Lefty-lefty matchup with Freddie Freeman. And as we've mentioned in this series, not that he's fast, but a tough guy to double up because he doesn't hit the ball on the ground that much. If you get him, that's a big bonus. And that's a rolling breaking ball that just stays way upstairs.
But you know what, on the positive side that I like about this thing, Bob, is he came out of here, and this is still a huge game for the Nationals. You know, just because you've won 2 doesn't mean that this game is not any more important than the other one. Because the game you're playing tonight is the most important game you're going to play in a pennant race. Every win is just as big as the last one or the next one. And he came out smoking tonight, throwing the ball as well as I've seen him throw all year long, as well as you've seen him throw. And for 4 innings, putting up nothing but goose eggs. Nobody really squaring the ball. So that shows you how tough he is and that he's ready to perform under pressure.
Yeah. That ball laced out to center. Harper after it. He will get there. Runner at second tags. Chipper Jones back to first on a fine running play by Bryce Harper. He covered some serious ground there.
He did, and he can cover ground. He runs exceptionally well, and he got a great jump and took a good route on this ball. Look how he goes at a route going back first and then cutting over and cutting the ball off. Tremendous job on a ball that was smoked right to the warning track, covering at least 25, 30 yards, watching the ball right in his glove, just in the edge. Actually hit off the long finger of that glove back into the pocket. Nice play, buddy.
And I think the authority with which the Braves are hitting the ball here in the 6th is what ends the night for Ross Detweiler.
You're going to see him start to throw his glove in frustration, but I know what he's thinking. This kid's been the best pitcher on any team he's ever been on. He has thrown a minimal amount of pitches. He wants to be in this ball game right now. That's what you want from a young pitcher. You want that competitiveness, that guy that goes out there and wants to battle. He doesn't want to come out of the ball game. So he is kicking himself, not because he's done poorly, because he's thrown the ball well, but because he wants to be in here getting these next 2 outs, Bob.
Yeah, this pitching staff is so good. It's like when they give up 3 runs in 6 innings, it's a nightmare. We have become so used.
Yeah.
I mean, this staff has an ERA of 3.23. The starters is even lower than that. And these guys have just been incredible. Ball one to David Ross as Craig Stammen comes on here. In the top of the 6th. First and third, one out. Craig can get a ground ball with that slider of his. That's a beautiful thing. At the knees on the outside corner. Stammen, of course, pitched 2 innings, the 12th and the 13th, and got the W in the marathon on Monday night. Ross' career is 0 for 2 against him. Took a little bit off that time.
And as we talked about the other night, he can get that ground ball with the slider or the sinker. The sinker running down and in, but with serious downward action. And then the slider has great movement downward going away. So hitters have a tendency to hit on top of both of those pitches. So he's an ideal man to bring in to get a ground ball.
In a 2-1 pitch. Count is back even.
You know how slow Stammen is to the plate. One of our most deliberate delivers of the baseball.
There's a bouncer. Zimmerman, Espinosa, 5-4-3. Craig Stammen gets the double play ball. That might be a momentum builder for the rest of this game. Top of the order coming up. W.B. Mason. Who but W.B. Mason? It stays 2-0 Braves. It looked like they were adding on there in the top of the 6th. Now the Nats have a chance to do something. 3rd time around the order. And it'll be the 4th time around for the Nats post-game concert series. Nats Live, Saturday, September 22nd, after the Nationals play the Brewers in a 105 game. Dierks Bentley, tickets start at $10. Go to nationals.com/concerts, and you must have a ticket for the game, of course, to stick around for the music. Big-time job by Craig Stammen to get that double play ball. Beautifully started, by the way, by Ryan Zimmerman. And it'll be Worth, Harper, and Zimmerman, bottom 6. 63 pitches, 45 strikes for Chris Medlin. During the month of August, 281 or 381 for Jason Worth, and then of course the on-base percentage is way higher than that. So let's see if the double play becomes offensive momentum in the very next half inning. Worth will take a strike, and it's 0-2. Medlin has had him reaching twice for ground balls to shortstop.
Well, he's been as good as anybody this year that we've seen pounding the strike zone, and the best with somebody throwing under 92 miles an hour. He just strike after strike with the fastball. Our report was that Bob so graciously gave me was 61% fastballs prior to tonight. Tonight, more fastballs than normal, as he has a tendency to throw, as Bob pointed out earlier, 21% change-ups and 18% slurves, curveballs.
And Worth was waiting for that front door breaking ball and fouled it. Nationals box score, 2 hits in an inning just once. Desmond Espinosa back-to-back in the second. But that really good double play Tyler Pasternicki turned, ended that second inning. The Nats have only had an Adam LaRoche line drive to center since. He's retired, Medlin has, 10 of the last 11 hitters. Handcuffs Worth, it'll be out of play. Bryce Harper is 1 for 11 in this series. Michael Morse is 0 for 12. Those guys explode for a couple of hits in the second half of this game. The comeback is on. And again, that front door breaking ball right on the hands of Worth.
Well, that's a great job, though. You can't try to pull it. You can't jump out at it, even though it hung inside. You can't spin on it, because he has a changeup in his back pocket. And Worth knows that, so he has to defend up there. So he's going to hit the fastball that's away to right field. Fastball in, he's just going to try to nick. And he just has the changeup in the back of his mind, so he's only thinking fastball the other way.
Worth hits it hard to left. That ball is beyond the reach of Martin Prado. Hustling over is Reed Johnson, and Worth is going to slide and stay at second. With nobody out, you cannot make the first out at third base. And Jason now trying to get his teammates and the crowd going.
Well, leadoff doubles has a way to do that as we look at this ball. Reacting inside. Now, that is what I mean. You look away for the fastball, think hitting it the other way. You see it and react in. If your hands are quick enough, you can cover the ball down. And he covered it, no doubt about it. Great piece of hitting, and that's what a veteran hitter does. It excites me to see a guy put that kind of at bat on about 4 pitches that were blacked out, off speed, tough pitches to handle. Kept fouling them off until he got a pitch that he reacted to and drove.
And do you know who made a great play on that ball? The center fielder, Reed Johnson. Full stride to help out Prado. And he held Worth to less than a triple.
Hey, great call, partner, because that is a long way to run over there, and a lot of guys will just sit there and watch the play. Reed Johnson going that way all the while as the ball gets by him and gets there quickly, and there's no way that Prado could have gotten up.
He didn't make a great throw, but Jason Worth had no way of telling that throw was offline.
But again, you remember how we talked about a while ago getting the ball on the way to first base on the double play? Very similar as an outfielder, getting it on the way back to the infield, because you have a cutoff man and a trailer.
Yeah.
And with the ball carrying that long in the air, you have enough time to generally adjust and move over and make the play without it hitting off your glove. So he just got the ball headed back into the infield as quickly as he could.
1 ball and 1 strike to Harper. Just inside. That was similar to the
That's a
pitch on
great eye.
which Danny Espinosa struck out last inning.
This ball, I think, just misses that corner.
Wow.
I mean, you couldn't put a sheet of paper between that ball and the plate. He's going to go soft with him somewhere.
Right there. 82.
And, you know, as a hitter, as you get older and more experienced, you're going to know. You're going to absolutely know that in the back of your mind, he's going to go soft in those situations. I'd be surprised if he sees another fastball this whole at bat. If it is, it'll be something that is not on the plate. Just trying to entice him, but he'll go soft again, I believe. Maybe inside. No. Curveball. Just no question. No question. That's just the way they're going to pitch him.
Bryce Harper struck out by the Braves in this series 6 times. That's number 7 for Medellin tonight.
And only 80 miles an hour, but the break on it is tremendous. And he hasn't thrown that pitch much at all. Bryce hasn't seen it much at all, but he's just way too active with his body. Back foot coming off the ground, his whole body charging toward the ball. And you have to stay back and be very quiet with your body when you're knowing that somebody's going to throw you something off speed, Bob.
Ryan Zimmerman 1 for 2. Right field both times. Breaking ball gets the outer half.
What I talked about his body moving forward. Watch his head and the 34, how it goes toward a national comm, almost covers it up, and his right side passes it. That is just too much action moving toward the ball, way too much aggression, and he will learn. Good gracious, this kid has a long time. They're going to continue to throw him soft, tease him until he makes that adjustment, and he will.
Now Zimmerman has to fight 0-2, target way out there. And the fastball right to the catcher. And by the way, Pasternicki hanging around second base. If you don't pay attention to Worth, he'll get himself to third. Second baseman keeping that from happening. And a 1-2 pitch now. Zimmerman up the middle, busted bat. That ball is on the ground. Worth had to hold up. He stops at third. And the Nats have first and third, 1 out, with Michael Morse coming up. A whole handful of busted bats tonight, and one finally fell in.
Well, even with these hitters that have all this experience, he hit the ball right on the last 1.5 or 2 inches of his bat, breaks it on the changeup, but he's learned enough that he's able to make contact. But that's how deceptive this Chris Medellin changeup is. And you have great hitters that still can't stay back on him.
And if you haven't noticed, Jason Worth has made 2 very good base running plays in this inning.
There's not a better base runner in the league than Jason Worth.
Michael Morse is 0 for 12 against the Braves in this series. And that's big. It gives him the count leverage at 1-0.
Well, this is his time. He's seen this guy twice. Struck out and then hit a ground ball to shortstop that shattered his bat.
Ooh.
See,
breaking ball that came into the center of the plate.
And Bob, this kid's amazing me. Just watching him. 78 miles an hour. So that's the softest pitch he's thrown all night. So he's actually going even softer than any of these hitters have seen before. So he's just going softer and softer and softer. And that's what made Whitey Ford and Warren Spahn, some of the greatest pitchers in this game have been able to get you out going soft.
One ball and one strike.
And then after seeing the soft curveball, he throws him a fastball that may have been the closest pitch down the middle of the plate all night. And he couldn't get to it because now his mind is just going back and forth, back and forth. You mentioned the intricacies of the game. That pitcher, he holds the key to everything that happened.
One ball and two strikes to Morse. We'll take it upstairs, 90. Michael career 1 for 4 against Chris Medlin. Worth at third. Zimmerman first, 1 out. Tying run is Ryan Zimmerman.
There's 2 general rules. When a guy goes in or up, he generally comes back soft. There's a changeup.
3-2. Are the Nats confident enough Morse will make contact to start Ryan Zimmerman at first base? Left-hander Adam LaRoche on deck.
Yeah, generally I say yes, but now I'm saying no. I don't think Davey feels good about Michael swinging the bat right now, making contact.
Short lead by Zimmerman. He's holding, and Morse way out ahead of that. 82, and he hit that ball at about a 70-degree angle to the left. 45 would keep it fair, so that's how far foul that thing was.
Anytime you make a decision whether to run a guy at first or not, it's about percentages. Is this guy going to strike out? And it's about the next hitter up. And with LaRoche, you don't want to take the bat out of his hand.
Morse takes it low, and the bases are loaded. Quite a take by a hitter who might have been very eager there. And the Nats have their first walk of the night. That's how a guy who's 0 for 12 can help his team in a crucial situation. I wonder if Roger McDowell asked David Ross if that was a strike before he said anything to his pitcher.
When they ask him, when they usually talk to the catcher like that, it's not really whether it's a ball over a strike, but is he losing his stuff? Does he still have the same movement? Is his breaking ball still the same? What do you feel with him?
Nobody throwing in the Atlanta bullpen.
And nobody knows more than that catcher. So Roger's just trying to get a little advice before he gets out there as to what he needs to say to Chris Medlin. And probably Ross has said, no, he's throwing the ball well. And then Roger, former teammate of mine, will say, hey, stay right where you are, kid. Just keep throwing the way you're throwing. You just missed on a couple of pitches. You're all right. Get a ground ball.
In this inning, one hard hit ball, then a strikeout, then a broken bat bloop, and then a walk. So here's Adam LaRoche, who's 1 for 2 tonight. And in his career, 2 for 8 with an RBI against Medlin. Adams had a good series. He's 4 for 9 with 2 walks. He'll make this guy throw strikes.
I like this matchup. I'd rather have him hitting than anybody in our ball club right now.
But he pops it up on the first pitch. Freddie Freeman, out number 2.
And guess what he threw him, Bob?
Changeup.
First pitch changeup.
You know, Adam LaRoche, these guys are paid to drive in runs. And I'm sure some fans are debating, after a walk, do you swing at the first pitch? Well, Adam LaRoche is having such a great RBI year. It's hard to second-guess anything he's doing.
And what he did, he looked for a pitch that he could drive in an area, and he got it. But it was a changeup. It was right where he wanted. Down the middle, center cut, just where he wanted it. But he wasn't able to time it because the pitcher took something off of it.
So here comes Mr. Clutch. In this series, Ian Desmond is 5 for 10. So he's back. And he likes to attack, but that was a breaking ball in the first one. Crowd of over 30,000 making lots of noise here. Nats are going for a sweep and an 8-game lead in the East. Down 2-0 here, 6th inning. He pulls it left side. Chipper Jones. Braves are out of the inning. One hard hit ball that entire inning. Worth and Medellin still pitching very well. Check it out tonight. Martin Prado, hitting star of the Braves, 6 hits in this series, 2 RBIs tonight. Chris Medellin has made it to the 90 pitch mark, and the Nats thought they had a momentum shift with a double play ball.
Well, I think it was a momentum shift. We didn't score there, but we kept the game in check. By making the good pitch, getting the ground ball, you get a double play, you're only 2 runs back. The way this ball club has been able to score in the latter innings, it's right where you want to be. Heck, they could have blown it open, and he did his job and still in the game.
Tyler Pasternicki leads off, top of the 7th, 0 for 2, couple of grounders. Ross Detweiler had 7 ground ball outs tonight, including a double play. No throwing in the Atlanta bullpen, so that is serious jammage right there. And Ryan Zimmerman will throw out Pasternicki. MLB.TV, we call it baseball everywhere. You can catch it live wherever you are around the nation. On your favorite connected device in HD quality. New low pricing as we approach September. To check it out and to order, visit nationals.com. Paul Yanich, the hitter. Medellin expected to come out on deck. Nobody throwing. By the way, there's an odd thing going on in baseball tonight. 2 teams with dome stadiums are playing a doubleheader. The Marlins are at Arizona. It was supposed to be a 4-game series ending tomorrow night, but they realized the Diamondbacks, because of a scheduling conflict, have too many games played in a certain time period, so they had to give them tomorrow off. They play a doubleheader tonight. It's the 7th doubleheader in a dome since 2000.
I know that rule used to be after 19 consecutive days you had to have a day off. I don't know if it's changed in the last 3 or 4 years.
It's right there. If it's not 19, it might be 20. But that's why I just couldn't figure out why, looking at the scoreboard, 2 teams with retractable domes were playing a doubleheader. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Stammen, look at the heaviness on that sinker. Right under the bat of Paul Yanich. And 2 quick outs here in the 7th.
Well, you called it, Pards. That ball sank about 8-10 inches with 92-mile-an-hour velocity, staying right on top of the ball with his hand.
Then you see the catcher go to the backhand to catch that thing.
That's when you know that thing is moving late and quick.
There you go. Medlin 0 for 1 with the costliest walk of the week. He walked with 2 outs 2 innings ago, and then Prado drove him and Tyler Pasternicki home. Only runs in this game. Medlin maybe one more inning. I mean, remember, he's only making his 5th start, coming off a complete game, and he's thrown 86 innings this year. He's on an innings limit after Tommy John surgery, but he's not the #1 starter on a first-place team. So you haven't heard about that probably until tonight. You've heard of the Strasburg story, right?
I have. I did.
Okay. You know, Davey made a joke in his press conference today. There were so many people in the clubhouse, reporters from around the country. It looked like a media convention in there. And then on to his 4:15 daily press session, he made a little comment about Strasburg to start it off after Stevens' outing last night. And then the next 20 minutes were about Strasburg. I'm not sure Davey wanted it to go that way, but he happened to open up that can of worms for everybody. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, he thought that he'd come out there and get it out of the way, I'm sure.
I'm just wondering if people know this is an election year because of Steven Strasburg. Three balls and 2 strikes. And Medlin, who will battle you. We've seen that tonight. Fouled off a bunch of pitches. Stays alive. Nats don't want to walk him again and give Martin Prado a chance. They want that guy leading off the 8th inning. Right side, Espinosa. 1, 2, 3. Craig Stammen. Great job getting 5 outs. Time to stretch and then get after it here at beautiful Nationals Park. Go to Dodge.com or visit your local Dodge dealer tomorrow. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. The Dome is beautiful on a Wednesday night in late August. Nats are playing some beautiful baseball, trying to make the comeback tonight. Edwin Jackson goes in Philadelphia. Rocky, brotherly love, and Edwin. Season high 11 strikeouts last time out against the Mets, but Jonathan Neese was a little better. And then for the Phillies, Kyle Kendrick, he's 6-9, 2-4 career against the Nats with an ERA of just under 5. Nats Extra, 6:30, first pitch, Citizens Bank Park, 7:05. Braves are going to make some changes here. Reed Johnson will move over to left field. Freddie Gonzalez is going to his defense right now. And that's because Michael Bourne takes over in center. And if you think Martin Prado's gone, not that lucky. He's playing second base now. So Michael Bourne is batting 7th. No double switch because the pitcher's still in. And why not the way he's been pitching? Johnny Venters getting ready if needed. Nats looking to get something started with their number 7 man, Danny Espinosa, 1 for 2 tonight and 1 for 10 in this series. The Nats have beaten the Braves the first 2 games with pitching, defense, and timely hitting. Not a ton of offense, but enough to win 2 crucial games. Upstairs, 1-1. Right-hander Chad Durbin will join Johnny Venters. Venters might be up if the Nats bat Bernardina or Tracy here. Often Davey will go with Roger first and save Chad for the 8th of the 9th. Or beyond.
Now,
of course, in this inning, the Nats will be hitting for Craig Stammen with their 3rd batter.
That's for sure.
One of Stammen's better outings lately. He's had 3 2/3 scoreless in this series. Espinosa gets under that one and pops it up. Chipper out. Yanish over. Johnson in. Reed Johnson makes the grab. Tonight's copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. It won't be Bernardina. It'll be Lombardozzi. So he can match up with whoever Freddie Gonzalez might bring in, but he might not bring in anybody. And if Suzuki gets on, Davey could switch off to Tracy for a game-tying home run. At least the potential of that.
I don't know that he'll use Tracy with Venters in the bullpen. That's why Freddie has him warming up, because he wants to use Tracy when he dictates the matchup.
And Suzuki will go to deep short, sliding, backhand, Yanish. That guy's a good-looking shortstop. 2 outs. Nats have had 3 hits since the 2nd inning. And Lombardozzi will be the hitter.
Well, he sure goes to that ball nicely and comes up, and he's got a little bit of something to throw with, too. He doesn't mind showing it off. Very accurate arm, strong.
Steve Lombardozzi is 2 for 2 in this series as a pinch hitter. One left-handed, one right-handed. And knowing that a pinch hitter coming off the bench is always aggressive, as a rule, he gets a first pitch changeup.
It's just amazing how many of those changeups he just throws for strikes, though. You know, it's one thing to throw a changeup.
Yeah.
It's another to throw it for strike time after time after time. They have all been strikes. This fastball here looks pretty good.
Wow. Lombardozzi 3 for 3 in this series as a pinch hitter. He's now 6 for 17 in that role this year. They're not going to play you every day. Contribute when you can, and he's done that.
We spoke about competing. This guy competes every second that he's on the field.
I mean, Ray, did you see the ease and the lack of motion in that swing?
Well, see, there you go. That's what I'm talking about, making an adjustment and being just quiet, soft, not trying to overpower the ball, and letting your eyes see as much of the ball as it possibly can. When you start moving toward it, your eyes jump, and you lose that perception of the speed of the ball. That's a great observation, Pards, and he did it about as well as you can do it. He's got a good move.
Yeah, he just doesn't throw little calling card tosses over either, does he? He goes after guys.
I think that's a part of his nature. When we do talk about competing, he competes also at everything he does. He wants to pick him off. He doesn't want to just throw over there. Oh, my.
0-2 now.
You can't do anything with that pitch.
Jason Worth has had some 0-2 counts to deal with.
He's at 73% strikes, which is a phenomenal number. If you can get to 70,
yeah,
that's usually the top of the line. He's thrown 74 strikes and 102 pitches.
His last time out in that complete game against San Diego, a 5-hit shutout with no walks and 6 strikeouts. He threw 104. So this is one pitcher showing no ill effects from a complete game last time out. Now, it wasn't 120 or 130 pitches like some complete games are. Freddie Freeman slapping that tag on Lombardozzi. Harper is next. Worth 1 for 3 tonight and 4 for 12 with a walk in this series. Target way away. Worth with a little check swing. Slammed his bat to the ground. Now goes the helmet, and the Nats have stranded 7. On to the 8th inning. What an outing by Chris Medlin of the Braves tonight. Earlier in the game, with a 2-0 Atlanta lead now going into the 8th, it is Miller time. Brought to you by Miller Lite. One swing's the difference here, Ray.
Martin Prado smokes the ball to straightaway center field. Bryce can't get back to it. Scoring Pasternicki and Medlin, who had walked with 2 outs. The big hit of the ball game, the player of the game, as he has hit 2 doubles, hit the ball hard 3 times. Medlin may be the player of the game, but offensive player.
Absolutely. Tom Gorzolani, 2.38 ERA in May, June, July, and August. He'll face the top of the order with Prado, Johnson, and Hayward. Chipper Jones and Jason Hayward, Brian McCann, at times Freddie Freeman get more notice than this guy. But I would argue with you vehemently that this man puts together consistently the best at bats of anybody on this Atlanta team.
And I won't argue with you, partner.
He has hit the ball hard 3 times, and Detweiler speared one of his drives, headed up the middle. Tonight he's batting leadoff. He's a great number 2 hitter. By the way, 2 more hits tonight, 144 on the year. And that leaves him right behind his teammate Michael Bourne for 4th most in the league. So these guys might be the 2 best table setters in baseball in terms of gathering hits, getting on base.
For you young hitters at home, watch this guy and just look how soft his feet are. Great hitters have soft feet and fast hands. And he just puts that front foot down, does a little bit of inward movement with his knee, very soft with his feet, and then he's able to generate bat speed because his hands do not move forward. If you land hard on that front foot, things go all which way. You get discombobulated.
Tough play for Worth. He gets into foul ground and misses it. Sometimes outfielders on either side of this field, corner right there, and the scorer could give Jason an error. It just hit his glove and squirted off the webbing.
Well, that's a very hard play, and it's just because there's that jut there. He feels it in his mind, or his mind's eye. Didn't really take his eye off the ball, but you run out of room and you just feel this thing, and some of these ballparks at jut, and that was right on the corner of the jut. And I'm not making an excuse for him. The ball's got to be caught, but it's a feeling that you have that's subconscious. I guess it's not unconscious, it's subconscious.
And they've given Jason Worth an error on that play.
And another thing that you do, and I did it once in San Francisco in my career, I put my glove up and it got between the ball and my eyes, and I missed it.
Well, Gorzolani pitches around that error and strikes out Prado. Prado not happy. Looks like a fastball pretty much down the middle.
It's a strike, no doubt. And I don't know what he's thinking about there.
He's mad at himself.
That's 3 inches from being a perfect strike. And he is one of those people. And the reason he's a great hitter is because he wants to get a hit every time. Yeah. He's not going to accept where he takes a pitch down the middle.
Now, you young hitters at home, don't watch what he did with his hands after that call. But other than that guy's pretty good. I'm really surprised he let a fastball go by. He was obviously guessing something else.
That's why when you hit 300, you fell 7% of the time. 70% of the time. So you're not going to do it right every time. But
Reed Johnson's 1 for 3. And now Gorzolani has him 0-2. Teammates in Chicago in 2009, Johnson and Gorzolani. Locks him up on a breaking ball down and in. Johnson will take off, but Suzuki throws him out. Tom Gorzolani, pair of strikeouts here. Hayward coming in. You've got until September 15th to place a deposit on a full season ticket plan for next year. Here's the incentive. Postseason ticket purchase priority for this year's playoffs if the Nats get there. Go to nationals.com/2013 202-675-NATS for all your ticket information. Another good night for Jason Hayward. 2 for 3 and he's 7 for 13 in the series. Two for 7 against Gorzolani, who pitched a scoreless 6th inning here the other night. After Jordan Zimmerman came out, now he's got a scoreless 8th tonight. So here come Harper, followed by Ryan Zimmerman and Michael Morse. Nats down by 2, bottom 8. O'Flaherty here. If you don't score and tie the game, you're stuck with Craig Kimbrell in the top of the 9th inning. So the Nats making their postseason push. Be there for every key play. You can do it with starting lineups and in-game alerts you can't afford to miss. Just text Nationals to 29292. 27-year-old left-hander Eric O'Flaherty. 50th game, always one of the busiest guys in the league. Great ERA. We'll check the matchups as Harper comes in for the bottom of the 8th. Eric O'Flaherty gave up 2 hits in the 8th inning, walked a man, but got a scoreless frame when he flied out Jason Worth on Monday night. He did not face Bryce Harper, who is 0 for 2 against him with a walk. Bryce 0 for 3 tonight. Braves have neutralized him in this series to the tune of 1 for 12. That's a base hit. They had him shifted up the middle, and that ball went right through the normal shortstop hole, and it was booted by Reed Johnson, and Bryce Harper's at second base.
Stays inside this ball, hits it right in that hole. Tony Gwynn made famous. 5.5 into left field, continues to hustle. Not much of a bobble, but running hard all the way. This kid has a champion's heart. It doesn't matter if he strikes out 17 times in a row. He gives you everything he has all the time. And he fired up in his first big league season, pennant race. You got to love the way he plays the game. And mistakes are going to be made, but man, is he going to be some kind of impact player.
And you could say that he might have forced Reed Johnson into that error. Maybe Reed looks up to see if he's running hard. It'll be a base hit, E7, Braves' second error of the night. So the double play possibility erased, and Zimmerman, Morse, and LaRoche are the next 3 hitters. Zimmerman, and that would have been a double play ball right there. He'll move the runner with 1 out in the 8th. Got to get this run home. The Nats left the bases loaded in the 6th. They had first and third 1 out in the 2nd. Suzuki hit into a double play, but it's time to get on the board and at least get this into a 1-run situation. Michael Morse 0 for 6 against O'Flaherty. There it goes. It's a base hit. It's a 2-1 game. Michael Morse checks in with his first hit of the series. And the hustle by Bryce Harper makes that run possible. Number 45 for Michael on the RBI chart. That changes everything. And now this inning are next, and they're going to run Bernardino for Morse here. The Nats will always have the tying run at the plate. So there's Roger, blinding speed. He's at first with 1 out. Adam LaRoche takes the strike. LaRoche against O'Flaherty. 2 for 8. Ballpark alive now. They've been waiting. Drew Storen warming for the 9th. What will the score be? Adams spits on the breaking ball, low and away. Bernardino almost got picked off. As the throw was being made, he was leaning towards second base.
Well, Flaherty doesn't throw over there very much. There's that almost balk move as he barely got that foot down inside that 45. There's an imaginary line, but it was very deceptive.
Heavy sink on that 92, and the count's 2-2.
45-degree line, that's a foot. They experimented with that line for 1 year. Ended up taking it out.
Yeah, because not everybody sets up on the same side of the rubber.
That's right.
2-2 now. And LaRoche will take that ball well off the plate inside. Will Davey Johnson turn Bernardino loose?
Real tough call because of the left-handed pitcher once again. And you know that he has a good move. He has a balk move. So it's almost one of those deals. If you do run him, you got to make him pitch. I don't know if there's an advantage of sending him, though, if he waits and breaks late. If you're going to go, you got to go on the first move. You get picked off, big trouble. So I'm saying no.
And then he quick pitched and walked him. O'Flaherty, and I'm not sure he even came to a pause there. The Nationals have first and second, 1 out, 3 base runners in the inning, with Desmond coming up.
He did pause, but he certainly got rid of it quickly. Almost a slide step. And just as the pressure caused Reed Johnson to look up when Harper was running, the thought of the speed of the runner at first caused O'Flaherty to quicken his deliver home.
Huge ball game situation here. Nobody working in the Atlanta bullpen. Tying runs at second base.
Which is
Desmond 1 for 3.
Which is a little surprising. This is a ball game here. You have Espinosa, who
they're going to have to hurry. And Desmond cannot beat it out.
Pulled a muscle.
And he hurt himself running to first base. The Nats are gone in the 8th. And Ian Desmond is acting like he pulled something in his leg. Are halfway down there trying to beat out a double play ball.
Yeah, I thought he pulled a muscle, boy. Routine ground ball, but he runs so well. But as he got there, he started limping. And as you said, Bob, it's going to be a tough play. But watch right there. Right here, he starts like he pulled a muscle or turned his ankle, something big time.
I wonder if he got a Charlie horse in his calf. That's one thing you could get, and then a minute later you're okay. Man, that was a big-time reaction by him, and he had nothing left to get to that bag.
Yeah, it scared me to death. I thought that he had ripped something in his leg.
Hopefully just a cramp that's now gone. He took a little, and there's Bernardina in left. Ian took a little run down to second base with Lee Kuntz watching him and said, I'm okay. So here's Chipper Jones, 1 for 3 tonight in the series, 2 for 8 with a walk. Gorzelani stays in to face him to keep him from the right side. And then Freeman. Drew Storn has sat down. Nats have stranded a frustrating 8 men on base tonight. Zimmerman launches a throw into the tarp, and that'll be his 10th error of the year on a routine play.
Well, we'll just look at it. We've seen him do this, and you never know why, because he never makes a bad throw when he's in a hurry. Never makes a bad throw when it's pressure on him. He's looking back like he might have misstepped, but on the most routine plays is when he does throw the ball away occasionally.
Freeman is 0 for 3 with a strikeout, and then 2 lineouts, 1 to LaRoche and 1 out to Harper. I'm not going to bunt with this guy. They're going to try to slug their way to another run, and Freeman puts a one-hopper up against the 335. Chipper Jones heading for third. They will hold him there. Not going to challenge Espinosa's arm on the relay with nobody out. And now the Braves are trying to put a stranglehold on this game.
Great young hitter.
Interesting, Ray. They sat down Storen, and there's nobody ready for Ross now.
Chipper running hard the whole way, never stops until he gets the stop sign, giving everything he has. Letting the third base coach make the decision as the ball's behind him. Still runs pretty good, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. And if the Nats make any mistake on that, he scores. Infield in, nobody out. And it's Gorzelani against the right-hander Ross, who promptly hits a sacrifice fly to center field. Harper had to keep going back, and now both runners will move up. And Ryan flinched at the end. I think he lost that ball in the lights up on top of the scoreboard. So the Braves get an unearned run and lead it 3-0 or 3-1.
Well, Bryce again unleashes this thing. There's no way you're going to throw anybody out from that deep, but nonetheless, he rips that ball.
Infield in again now. So David Ross collects his 15th RBI. Michael Bourne bats for the first time. He came in to play center field in the bottom of the 7th. Braves trying to salvage one and leave town 6 games out. One more than when they got here. It's a series win and a good one for the Nats no matter what happens here. They'll have the bottom of the order due up in the bottom of the 9th. It's one of the few games lately where the Nationals have wasted offensive opportunities. They've been pretty efficient scoring runs. That's a breaking ball that was hanging up, and it's 4-1.
Not a lot of bite to the breaking ball. More of a spinner than a hard diving hook.
This is an important game for the Braves. They got a couple of ball clubs breathing down their necks for the wild card. And with that ball getting away, down to second goes Bourne.
Dan Uggla getting loosened up. Drew Storen heating up in a hurry.
Braves have right now a 3.5 game lead over the Pirates, who lost tonight. St. Louis is ahead. Dodgers, Giants just underway. So a big game for them. Atlanta, Pittsburgh, the two wild card teams at the moment. And a 1-1 with Bourne running. Zimmerman had to dive across the line, and Bourne's going to score. Not a good defensive inning for the Nats. It'll be a steal of third and an error on Suzuki's throw. The Nats have made 2 errors this inning, and the Braves lead 5-1. Michael Bourne's 34th stolen base.
He gets a good jump. Gorgelani doesn't even check him, and then the throw is so far inside. He does a great job to just stop that ball. And the ball right into Bourne.
Zimmerman's got that one. And that's only the second out of the inning. So Dan Uggla gets a pinch hitting appearance. In this series, he's 1 for 10. Popped up in a crucial situation last night in the 9th when the Braves had 2 men on, nobody out. Remember, Tyler Clippard showed him a fastball, put him away with a changeup. And that's what he sees first pitch from Gorzelani. Well, Craig Kimbrell hasn't pitched in this series. He's going to pitch the 9th inning, even though it's not a safe situation now. He has 31 saves, one of the best young arms in the game. Uggla looked like he went. He did. So the Nats give the Braves 2 unearned runs in the 9th and trail by 4.
Byron Kerr and Phil Wood, Nats Extra postgame show presented by WB Mason. Around the corner in just a few moments, but a little bit sloppy for the Nationals here in the late going, and Ross Detweiler gave up a big hit, and the offense unable to get really anything going tonight.
Well, Ross gives up a hit that drives in too early in the ball game, but it's nothing that happens when you walk the other pitcher, and that's how that got started. So, yeah, it's a tough outing for Ross, but look, it's a worst case scenario. They win 2 out of 3, and the Braves leave town trailing by 6.
And they still have a chance to try to get something going. Craig Kimbrell's been very good this year, Bob, but maybe they can get something off him here.
He is very difficult, Byron. And it's not a safe situation for him. Danny Espinosa has taken him deep this year. July 20th right here.
Well, he will supply the power. He throws it 98 and threw the ball out away from Danny where he's liked it lately.
So every time a Nat hits a home run this year, it's $200 to the Children's National Medical Center, thanks to our Washington area Lexus dealers. This man is a strikeout pitcher.
Yes, sir.
You'll see it right there. 79 in 45 innings. Are you kidding me? $79 divided by 45. That is 17 strikeouts per 9 innings. Wow.
Well, he's hit 100 before, but as good a fastball as any closer in the league, and he keeps it down in the zone.
His innings are down from last year. Craig Kimbrell last year threw 987 pitches. And that was actually at this stage of the season he had thrown that many. And Freddie Gonzalez keeping his innings, keeping his pitches way down this year. And when this one's over, you heard from Byron and Phil. They're out in left field. And we invite you to tune into the Nats Extra postgame show presented by WB Mason. Tough to sweep a good ball club, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is. And
Nats have done that to them down there.
Well, they have good enough pitching, and you know their offense is just always a powder keg waiting to erupt or explode. They're deep. You know, they're deep. You look at their club and match it up to this club, and very similar. No doubt that the Nationals have much better starting pitching. Bullpens are pretty equal.
It's up to the Nats to keep playing well so that when they go to Atlanta Friday, Saturday, Sunday, September 14, 15, 16, it's the second last road trip of the season. You got to make sure they're not within 3 games at that time so they can tie you. And Kimbrell blows away Kurt Suzuki, and the Nats are down to their final out.
Leads all the major leagues.
Yeah. Best in the business at this stage of a game. And with 2 outs now in the night, Chad Tracy will be the pinch hitter. Well, this is something we're not used to, a ball game where the Nats are not only behind, but also lacking 9th inning drama. Only 3 men on base to get the tying run into the batter's box.
I think Davey went out there because he thought that ball hit Chad. Chad started to throw his bat and go to first base, and then Davey's just reacting to what Chad does.
There's that breaking ball that comes in. When he gets that over, it is bordering on unfair.
Yeah, Chad, ball did hit him. It just grazed him, and Chad started toward first base.
Yeah, if it hits the baggy uniform pant, it's a hit batter. And Craig Kimbrough wasting no time in putting an end to this one. So the Braves will salvage one, even though the Nats had 9 hits tonight, but they stranded 8 base runners, and the Braves will get the salvage game of this 3-game series. But all in all, the Nationals had a really good series against the second-place team. So for Ray Knight, and Ray, good luck back in the studio, buddy.
Thank you, bud.
And for Christina, Bob Carpenter, Braves win it, and we're in with you on Friday night when the Nats open a 5-game trip. 3 in Philly would get you going. Nats Extra 6:30. This has been a Masson presentation. Stay tuned now. Nats Extra, brought to you by WB Mason, coming up next. And from the booth, so long for just a while.